Hello, swivel heads. Tonight we're going down the forbidden rabbit hole. We're talking about globalism versus freedom, sovereignty. We're going to talk about where we're at. We're not talking about globalism as in Peter Zion's post-Bretton Woods international trade regime. We're talking about it in terms of the House of Klaus, what the UN wanted, what the globalist international bankers and uh, money changers, what the intel community, the state of really deep affairs was trying to sweep us into. And there's some movement afoot, love them or hate them, by our current POTUS to sweep a lot of that aside. And that's the good news. So some people always say, "Oh, it's all doom and gloom on here." No, it's not. We got the fact that we got some pushback going on here is good news. The fact that Europeans are waking up to the threats they face as a civilization is good news. These things could preserve us, and perhaps even Europe might be able to shimmy out of the dangers they're facing, all to sweep us into the House of Klaus. You might remember the the European Union started out as a little economic trading bloc and became a government of nations that many nations were brought into after voting no repeatedly, time and time and time again. They just wore them down until they got them in their fold. This was supposed to be the model for turning all the nations into one. Fortunately, Britain pulled out. But Starmer, the current PM of Britain, excuse me, the United Kingdom, he still kind of plays along with them to a degree, way too comfortable for most, I think, people in Europe and people in Great Britain, United Kingdom in particular. So hopefully they're waking up. Some of the other countries or the people are waking up. They're saying, we've had enough of this. And turns out that Trump is actually trying to pull four European nations out of the EU. And the Europeans are not happy with it. So this is uh, this is a chance, maybe our last best chance to shake off the yoke of their plans for 2030. Yeah, everything was aimed at 2030, but for some reason, it's only 5 years from now. So we still got a shot to not be under their yoke, but their whole system's collapsing anyway. China is going to be the ones we got to really watch out for. And they'll be coming at us with another yoke if they can throw it on us. That will be another topic. We'll talk a little bit about China tonight, but tonight we're going to talk about the uh, the ones that's been coming after us for some time. And thank you, Jason, for calling for the thumbs up. I will go to the chat room more after I go through these, after what's happening. So we're going to talk this, and then I will go to the chat room for a bit. So let's have a look at some of the articles on this, on these topics, things that are germane to what I'm going to say. And I'm not just going to come up with news articles off the bat now. We're going to talk some more news. We're going to do that a little later. We're going to talk about what's in front of us here and the big game being played right now. So hang on to your hats, folks. And here it is. Ding, bada bing, bada bang. All right. So open that up a little bit more. There we go. So it's funny because the United States is telling Europe that, we're 38.4 trillion dollars in debt. The interest on our debt now exceeds what we spent on defense of the United States. And we're looking at threats from China. And China is building stuff faster than we can. Tanks, artillery, missiles, aircraft. Yeah, they got the J-20, which is supposed to be their answer to our F-35. And I can go on another topic on that, but it looks like it really is. They are building ships to beat the band way faster than we can. And so, and they are chomping at the bit. They got things set up right here in the good old US of A and other countries to be able to take us to our knees whenever they please. So we got a big thing to deal with there. But tonight we're going to talk about the one that's been breathing down our neck for a long time. The little house that claims you will own nothing. You'll have no privacy, but you'll be happy. Yeah, the House of Klaus. That's what I call it. So anyway, so Trump is, he's pushing back on him. He's telling them, look, you got to take care of yourselves. You've got to cover your own and your own expenses. And he's trying to put pressure against the EU and the members of the administration been over there preaching to them, telling them at a NATO summit, basically, and at the Well Forum that, hey, you guys are oppressing freedom, and that's wrong. So why, the whole thing about Western values and Western nations is our freedoms, our freedom of speech and things like that. And they got spanked over, but they don't like it. No, no. And because of that, now they're saying the U.S. is a potent threat to Europe. This is what we call tough love. We would like to see Europe succeed, not be overtaken by people from other regions that have religions that don't appreciate the countries they're going into, the people that do not want to assimilate. They got their own ideas. And since they are reproducing faster than the 1.3 reproduction rate of Europeans, the Europeans better wake up or you're going to be Eurostan. You're not going to exist as peoples in their respective countries. Now, some countries are beginning to wake up. Some are starting to push back, including Sweden, who had the biggest, widest open doors. Well, the people there got tired of it. And they said, no more. So let's hope some of the other countries there pursue common sense and try to preserve themselves. So, but anyway, so they're not happy with Trump. They're not happy with any of us here in the West. They look down their bony nose of indignation at us, like they're superior to us because, well, they've been around a lot longer. Never mind that if we hadn't bailed them out in World War I and World War II, they'd be goose stepping and saluting to whoever is the current Führer of the Third Reich. Or if we hadn't preserved them for, 80 years in the Cold War, they might be, they might belong to Putin, not in a Russia, but a Soviet Union. So we have long defended Europe. And for them to act like that and then to treat us like this is kind of beyond disrespectful. But that's your globalist because they don't like the vision that's coming out. I think the actual people in Europe would agree with me. If you're in Europe and you're in the chat room or you're watching this later and you don't agree, tell me. Put it in the notes or the chat, wherever you're at, the comment section. I'd like to know what you really think. Where are you really at on this? How do you size all this up? But we're going to go down this rabbit hole somewhere. We're going to go deep down this rabbit hole. So much so that you may never see me here again. Kind of deep. There's some things I'm not going to say, of course. So, hey, 9 out of 10 Britons support deporting violent immigrants, or migrants, it says, to protect women's safety. Wow. If in Britain you go on Facebook and you post something that somebody from somewhere else did something to a woman in your nation, you were getting arrested. The person that did it. Okay, you behave yourself now. Go back in the street. Over and over and over. It's time that stops. But it's not my job. Hey, you guys over in Britain, all your other countries over in Europe, that's your job. You know what I mean? If y'all want to allow that to keep going on to you guys, if you allow that to keep going on, you ain't got no future. Let's put it that way. Hey, guys in the chat, if you disagree with me, put a one in the chat. If you agree with me, put a two in the chat. What does everybody think about that? All right. Europe's pathologies threaten to destroy America too. This is in the New York Sun, or the Sun from New York. Open borders. Unassimilated immigrants. The whole thing was we're supposed to have been a melting pot, but somehow people decided they didn't want to melt in and meld with our civilization, our culture, not respect our values. That's a problem. That and having people that you've not vetted who may be in here to do harm or bring in traffic people in, which is basically slavery, sell drugs that's taking out people, all bad stuff. Hey, old hillbilly, thanks for the vote of confidence. Uh, so let's see, decline in fertility, green fanaticism. Remember AOC's new Green Deal, Trump going along, Biden going along with that. Unsustainable budget deficits. I have just loaded a video that's going to come out tomorrow at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Figure it out for yourself. Where I'm talking about 8 steps to financial ruin, the financial Armageddon apocalypse, and what the government ought to do and what you can do about it. Anyway, we'll be covering it. Vast national debt are among the woes confronting the old world and new. So yeah, I talk about it mainly from the standpoint of the United States, but it applies to everybody. Anyway, just letting you guys see some of this stuff here. Trump team weighs forming 5-nation group with Russia to replace the G7. It's like, well, you and you guys in Europe, you really don't count. Your economy's crashing. You're trying to prosecute a war, pull us into globalism. What is this new G5 or whatever they would call it would consist of China, India, Russia, and let's see, the United States and Japan. That would be the 5 nations he's pulling into this, trying to pull into this. So he's looking at spheres of influence, the most powerful nations. And who are the most powerful nations today? Europe is, the economy is falling. They got a lot of issues over there. So this is what they're talking about doing. Nothing around a C5 or C7, or they may have called it a C or whatever, G, but we'll see how this comes. Group 5, the Democratic Group 5 came up. A longer, unpublished version of the National Security Strategy. Unpublished. And, you know, the G7 is US, Japan, Germany, Britain, France, Italy, and Canada. It's other than Japan, all, you know, and the United States, which has been tied to Europe for a long time, basically European. So, hey, Europe, guys, you got to make yourselves more relevant. You've been declining. Anyway, yeah, but NATO is snapback. NATO says, and this is published, of course, in Kyiv Post, Ukrainians really want Americans to hear this. America cannot defend itself alone. Ex-NATO commander urges U.S. to stay committed to Europe. Okay, so I guess France and Germany and Italy or UK are going to jump in the boat and save America if we get attacked by China or whoever else, right? I mean, that's what it first here, right? We can't defend ourselves. You know, and oh yeah, they joined us in the 9/11 operations against Iraq and against Iran. Iraq. It was Iraq and Afghanistan, right? Well, they put their forces in there. They joined with us. They were side by side. 1%, 1 measly %. I don't think they're going to be a game changer. So, in other words, this whole notion that we cannot defend ourselves alone. Now, probably if we're going to get into it with Japan, our biggest allies are going to be the Philippines and, if we're going to get into it with China, the Philippines and Japan, mainly Japan, maybe Australia. That'll be our biggest allies. Maybe some other countries down around the South China Sea that don't want to see themselves lose everything. India might weigh in. We still might pull India in on our sides. No, we can't fight China by ourselves. That's fact. But the year NATO isn't going to help us. Not really. So all the war talk is nerve-wracking. Gets old. Well, that's not the main talk here. The main talk here is this where they've been trying to pull us. So we're going to talk more war stuff later. But here I'm just talking about the whole idea that they're trying to insinuate that the United States cannot defend itself without NATO. I'm just saying that's bunk. That's the whole point of it. It's bunk. So we're going down this rabbit hole. Just a minute here. These ads popping up. That was not the article I had up earlier. I hate these things I had just pulled up yesterday. When they come in here and replace what you pulled up, the article with some other news, that bugs me. I just kill that whole thing. Some websites that Reuters, I don't show Reuters anymore because Reuters, you never get the article you pulled up. It's always all their junk, except what you wanted to see. I hate Reuters now. So Europe turns on free speech in the West. Well, we've already discussed that. This is from the Washington Examiner. We have already discussed this at some length. We've seen it going on. European leaders seek to export their crusade against free speech to American companies, courtesy of the European Union. They're suing Elon Musk and X, right? And that's part of what this is all about in this case. So they are really trying to shut us down here so we can't speak freely. But, in spite of all this stuff, the House passes a bill to bolster Europe's defense. What are we throwing more money over there for? We're broke. We got to cut this crap out. War, U.S. Stupid, I agree. Yeah, we got to cut this out. Anyway, self-righteous, smug Europe chokes on its scorn for America. We just talked about that. Yeah, they think they're so much better than us, even though we've saved their rear ends over and over and over and spent our own blood and treasure keeping these people free. And that's their attitude. Nothing bothers the European elite as much as American conservatives praising the European foundations of the shared but threatened Western civilization. See, they don't want to abide by their own original principles anymore because they all want to go to global governance. And that's what this all was set up for. European Union was to be a step in that direction, but it's not doing so well. Now, there's an interesting video over here, Drug Money, why 2026 is America's second civil war. This has been more about, and we may have one, but this video really starts out more about the troubles with Europe and things that I have long known, which I will show you over here. I have actually pulled this book reference up in another video way back many months or maybe a few years ago, The Antichrist in a Teacup. This particular book was suggesting, when did it come out? In 1998. It was suggesting that King Charles was probably going to be the Antichrist because of their crest and just a lot of stuff that seemed to fit and the way they were pushing for global governance. But I don't think so because he don't have the popularity it would require to be an Antichrist. I do think his son William might fit, but that doesn't mean it's going to be one of them. It's just, it's just one of those ideas out there floating around, and there's indicators it could go that direction. I thought I had a more extensive write-up in here pulled up, but it's just showing me the abbreviated whatever. Anyway, we've talked about this in the past, but let's go on down the rabbit hole because Europe and the Rothschilds are all been aligned in this, Rockefellers. One thing you might notice is that, and I'm going to talk about the China part of it here for a minute, is that both David Rockefeller and not Charles, Klaus Schwab, Klaus Schwab, the House of Klaus. Schwab the deck, Klaus Schwab, went to China and praised the Chinese system. They both said this is the way the West needs to operate. What? Social credit, constant monitoring of everyone, no freedom of speech. I just had them salivate. No. You might remember David Rockefeller was the youngest ever person appointed to be chairman of the New York Council of Foreign Relations. And he, in what was his name? Shoot, Zabinski and Jimmy Carter from the Trilateral Commission. I might remember those guys. Yes, very much big time globalist. And they're all in there with our so-called good friend Henry Kissinger. Well, and here's the House of Klaus, which I don't usually say out loud on here. So what's their mission? Provide a global, impartial, not-for-profit platform, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they're out after globalism. You know, we've seen what they've been for before. You know, this is their so-called intelligence thing, which shows what's they're really concerned about: conspiracy theories, political polarization, monetizing disinformation. Oh, they've been all over disinformation and misinformation, which they define as anything that's not in line with their worldview. Information disorders. They've changed it up a little bit to try to change it some. So, interesting. Disinformation. Oh, that's their big bugaboo. Why? Because they want to change how we talk. So, are y'all aware that I'm throwing out some random pieces. We're going to put them all together in a minute. That the city of London is technically an independent country within the United Kingdom, maybe somewhat not actually governed the same way. See, the city has unique political status, legacy of uninterrupted integrity as a corporate city, and it's got a singular relationship with the crown. So, I kid you not. And I'm going to go in. So, where does it say? It's in here somewhere that it's basically its own country. So I can find it. It's in here, but basically they operate as their own country. Kid you not, it's in here. You can look it up on Wikipedia. That's where I'm at. Just come in and look it up for yourself and read it. You'll be astounded. But what this lady over here was asserting was that the intelligence community and the banksters, the global banksters, are raising illicit, illegal money through the drug trade. Now, a lot of us have long suspected the CIA got a lot of their money through these routes. This is how they fund a lot of their operations. The so-called black, deep, top secret government. That a whole lot of this stuff is funded through these means. And the so-called war on drugs, never got serious. It was all just, for show. That's why it never slowed the drug trade down. So there's been a lot of allegations about these things for some time. So this is not new. And and she's alleging that part of Trump's war on Venezuela is to shut some of this stuff down. It's the funding mechanism for the intelligence networks of the deep state. Some of us think that what happened to Charlie Kirk may have been tied to the Mossad. Some of what happened to him may have been tied to, well, some of what happened, some of this mess with Epstein tied to the Mossad. A whole big operation to be able to blackmail the world's leaders into doing the bidding the globalist elite network of financiers, banksters, and intel community, and that the Crown of England was very much involved with that. That's been allegations going way back. And one of the big guys who really talked about this some time ago was Lyndon LaRouche. Now, Lyndon LaRouche was, yeah, he was a kook, but he did have some significant intel. Robert J. Alexander here said Lyndon LaRouche, well, he's talking about his establishment of his intelligence network back in 1971. And others in here have said that he had the best intelligence network in the world. He recruited people from all over the world to report to him. He had quite a little intel network of his own. And he put out this book, this magazine called the Executive Intelligence Review. I don't know if y'all have heard of this. Uh, I became acquainted with this stuff back in 1981 myself. I had a few copies of this somewhere once upon a time. I may still have a few. No, I'm not a LaRouche, never have been. But, it was interesting to read his perspective because this kind of perspective wasn't coming out nowhere in that time. It was a perspective that painted the kind of story I just told you. He really said that the Queen of England was behind a big drug network. And, he laid out the workings of the Council for Foreign Relations, the Trilateralist Commission, the various members, what they were doing, and what all they were trying to pull off, the whole globalist game. He was actually laying that stuff out. I do think he has some really kooky ideas, but he did put stuff out there. He started the Fusion Energy Foundation. Back in the day, he put out Fusion Magazine. He was really pushing for fusion power. Let's see here. See, government and military contacts as researchers supplied information. And Bobby Ray Inman, the CIA's deputy director, said that LaRouche and his wife had visited him, and there's others in here talking about his network. And this, you can look him up. This is on Wikipedia too. And they said he had the best, and some of them said he had the best intel network out there. So it's interesting. And when he talked about General Haig, all these guys, uh, it had some interesting stuff in there. I never took the whole thing for verbatim, no way, but it was interesting. This is a whole. Even the EIR is here on Wikipedia also. Executive Intelligence Review. It was interesting. So, just to put it in perspective, there's been a lot of people making this case that, whoa, we got a super chat tonight. Baby girl, $5. Well, thank you, baby girl. I appreciate it. Salute to you. Awesome. That's the main reason to do live sessions, really. Salute to you. Very much appreciate it. Hey, all right, so I'm just putting it out here, guys. This, there is a movement. I mean, if you read what was in the UN paper, we're talking about their 2030 agenda. I'm trying to be kind of throwing off the AI that listens to everything. They're, what they had in mind was not productive, for us. It was not conducive to our freedoms. If you see what the European Union does, how it was put together, and the fact that the people don't vote directly for Ursula von der Leyen, whatever her name is, the president of the European Union. They don't vote for any of those. It's voted for by the countries that are in it. And so the direct participation by the citizens of Europe is verboten. This whole thing was to knuckle people down into this global gulag, it seems. Now, some of them will say, oh, no. But, kind of like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, new. I'm just trying not to use all the names directly here. That's exactly where I'm at, new. I'm trying to paint this picture. It all fits together. And what I'm telling you is that some of the big architects in this was David Rockefeller. And of course, the person you mentioned who also went to China and said, this is the model of what we need to do. So if you understand where this is going, that's where it's going. But it's worse with the AI systems and Klaus talking about chips and his right-hand guy. I'm going to do another video just on this topic, talking about how freedom to choose our uh, whole what do you call that term? Our the freedom of will, basically. I'm not coming up with the right term. I get brain locked. Saying it's all an illusion and you got no soul. That is wrong. What they're trying to do is get people into their system. They want you become their little robot with a chip in your head. And that's how come you're going to be happy when you ain't got nothing, because you're going to be a little mind-numbed robot. So that's the direction all this leads. And it is the direction of the beast system. It looks like, it smells like. So as people that have faith, we are not supposed to be supporting Satan. Let's just be blunt about it. We're not supposed to be in support of that, right? Now, some people think they're supposed to push it along to bring Jesus back to them. He will come back when he's good and ready. And, when the heavenly powers decide that things have got to line up. But unlike Joe Rogan, he won't be coming back through an AI. Oh my gosh. No, that is not the way it's going to work, folks. That is not the way it's going to work. But I'm just wanting you guys to see some of the stuff that they've had this stuff set up for a long time. And they hoodwinked the United States to start falling down this rabbit hole back in 1913. What did they do in 1913? They had that little private conclave over in Jekyll Island where the banksters got together and figured out how to set up their own so-called national bank, not call it a national bank since Andrew Jackson thankfully took us out of it one time. We had a great period of peace and prosperity. Well, a great period of prosperity in the United States. We did have a war. It wasn't so civil in the middle of it. That wasn't part of the bank question. But it just so happens a lot of European influence was involved in that. A lot of European influence. And it was Colonel House that really had the ear of Woodrow Wilson and lured him into a lot of that stuff, but he was probably already minimal to all that stuff. So, guys, this goes way back. They've been working on this for some long time. But suddenly, we got some people who want to shuck that from us. And there are people in Germany, even, and in Europe. I just showed you the Britons who were saying 9 out of 10, hey, we've had enough. Well, there's people in Germany calling for an alliance with the MAGA movement. Can you believe that? So the people in Europe are getting fed up. The common citizens are beginning to wake up that they're being hoodwinked, except for the white people. They'll never wake up. So, okay, we're going to get into our regular war news now. But I just wanted to wake you guys up to this whole what things are about. Now, part of this whole sphere is hopefully the United States can pull loose from this madness that's going on in Europe now, where these woke House of Klaus crowders are trying to push Europe into war with Russia. There are some countries in Europe that don't want part of that. Or, when you're poking a bear that's got 6,000 nuclear weapons and you only got a couple hundred, which is all the Europeans have, then you ought to think twice. Anyway, Russia's chilling nuclear annihilation threat as what they're saying here is that World War III anxieties reach a fever pitch when Kremlin propagandist Vladimir Solovoy, he said that a strike against the United Kingdom is inevitable. That's just the way he put it, inevitable. Now, he is a propagandist, but he don't get to speak and say such things without Kremlin approval. That's the way it works over there. So is this just saber rattling? Let's hope so. But anyway, so Britain's coming back. We must prepare for war with Russia on a scale our grandparents endured. Probably the same from Kyiv down there, or from somewhere in Ukraine. Um, Europe warned that Russia has chosen its next target, and war is back. And that target, according to this article, is Great Britain, United Kingdom, mainly the Great Britain section of the United Kingdom. So, oh, I have actually already went through this, and now they're hitting me up. Gosh, I hate it when they do that. You like log in to everything over and over and over and over. Oh well, heck with that. I'll move on. And root. Oh my gosh, not this one too. See what happened yesterday when I first pulled these articles up. I went through all the steps, and now this is why I hate them. That's why I hate them. Mark Root is basically saying, hey, we're going to be at war. Some of these websites is getting where you can't use them anymore. And that's over half the news sites now are getting to be an issue. I can read all this stuff on my phone without a problem. I'm going to bring it up on my computer. And I actually went through all the steps where I could see the article, did whatever, everything they said to. And you got to bear in mind, these subscription fees on these are more than I make on this channel. They're crazy. I'm gonna have to just quit going here. I'm gonna may just do everything on X from now on. I gotta be really careful on X because they show a lot of videos and things that would get me canned on YouTube. Violence and stuff. Oh yeah, everything's on X. So it's getting to be a problem. Getting to be a problem. And you can subscribe to them and pay them money, and they'll still throw ads at you. It's crazy. Kremlin signals it will reject revised peace plan ahead of U.S., Europe, and Ukrainian talks. Well, that's a gimme because the Europeans keep thinking, well, we're going to put NATO forces in Ukraine. And the whole reason that Russia invaded Ukraine because they didn't want NATO forces there. To them, that's an existential threat, and they'll rather attack Europe than deal with that. They'll just rather take the war. Right now, that's not their objective, but they would if it came down to that because they are really, there's a difference in philosophy in continental empire nations and maritime empire nations. We, United States, Japan, Great Britain have been maritime powers. We understand maritime thinking. But China and Russia are landlocked nations for the most part. They're continental powers. And the biggest threats has been, especially to Russia, has been invasion via land. They've been invaded over and over and over and over and over and over. And it's been a huge cost to the Russian people and Russian country and a huge threat to them. So in their mind, in the mind of all these continental powers, they get security by moving out and taking lands further away. So it kind of blunts anybody wanting to come into them. And that was the whole philosophy of Catherine the Great, Peter the Great, Ivan the Terrible. I've gone over this before. This is one of the few things I actually do agree with Peter Zion on. Um, Now, Russia has a more immediate approach to these kind of things. Russia, is very aggressive. They hit fast. They believe in moving out and fighting. China is a little bit more laid back. They got that Sun Tzu philosophy. They would rather lure you in, make you relaxed, and then take you over when you least suspect it. And I think really they're setting Taiwan up as a trap against the United States. That's another topic. But we are not looking good for a conflict with China. But in any event, we should try to avoid conflict wherever possible, but without having to give away the house too. Um, so yeah, this is Kremlin is already winning over there. Why are they going to give up? Especially with the kind of philosophy they got and want to keep NATO out of Europe. That's what I'm saying here. Why do they want to give up? How are you going to make them if they don't agree? You're going to declare World War III? Some in Europe look like they want to. At least the so-called leaders who won't be the bleeders. They'll leave that up to the young people. But anyway, so and this article decides that Europe is really doomed and taking Britain down with it. All right, guys, here it is. The EU share of world GDP. Well, there it is. It's dropped. Look at that from 27% in 1990 to 17% in 20 and coming up on 2026. Look at that. 27%. So it's down 10% of the entire global GDP in no time flat, basically. And it talks about the various Eurozone created financial crises and different things that happened. That's 2008, when we had, hey, I got a whole video. We're going to talk about 2008 and all these things in great detail. It'll be coming up tomorrow. So I'm not going to beat that, but and they can look at these other parameters that we've been talking about here tonight and throw them and lump them in with that too, which they didn't in that article. But Russia's attacking along the entire front right now. And the article I didn't bring up was how Ukraine's hitting back with big drone attacks in Russia. It's brutal over there. It is brutal. It'd be a good thing if it would stop the nonsense. All right. Slovak PM Fico or FICO, however he says his name, declares he will block EU military aid for Ukraine at upcoming Brussels summit. So the European countries that want to support Ukraine will probably have to do it outside the EU, because I think the EU is pretty much a consensus organization. To some degree, NATO is too. So we'll have to see how they merit this stuff. It might be an alliance of certain European countries will form to do that. Oops. That's this video. Let's go somewhere else here. Hang on. Stop the share. And we'll come in here and go upstairs and look at another set of articles here that I didn't link them all together, but simply because I had too much stuff in there. It was too many tabs tonight. So I had to kind of break them apart. That's so many tabs. All right, now let's look and see if we can get this one in here. Ding, ding, ding. There it is. Come on. Sometimes the stuff don't jump on it like I want it to. We're going to cover not as many tabs here, but we're going to cover a few more. Fears are growing that China-made electronics could leave the U.S. in the dark during a cyber attack. Suddenly, this is a new article, a whole new topic. I think I've been talking about this for a long time. A long time. Chinese devices called inverters are widely used in the U.S. power companies and could be vulnerable to hacking. New report indicates. New report. You got to be kidding me. They just discovered this? Oh, well. Guys, our grid is at risk. If you don't know that, you've not been paying attention here. So let's see if we can open this article without being on a million curveballs. War III fears as war games show China delivering decisive blow to the U.S. fleet in minutes. Why? Because of their missile forces. Classified U.S. government assessment has conducted that China would emerge victoriously in a war over Taiwan. Highly classified U.S. government assessment has determined that China would prevail. Well, I can go into more details on that maybe in a future video. All the stuff they got, all the things that they could throw at us, and how they've been developing stuff so fast. It's crazy. But that's a highly supposedly classified report. And we're hung up. It don't want to, nothing wants to move here. Oh, well, I'm going to have to unshare and reshare. In a second, I got to go back to, uh-oh. I hit stop the share there. All right, now I'm going to hit share again. Now, before I do that, though, wait a minute. Before I do that, I'm actually going to change the tabs on that because it might be that one tab caused it. Oh, yeah, I wanted to throw up a bunch of ads. That was a problem. Good grief. All right, we're going to go back in here. Pardon me, guys. Sometimes I got to fight my apps, got to fight my programs, make things happen. Here we are. There we are. China can sink the Navy's $13 billion Ford class aircraft carrier. Hex has said this himself. That he said it can be done, just like that other article insinuated, in minutes. We put all our money in these great, ginormous, big ships. And we brag, well, we got more tonnage than China. They got more ships, but we got more tonnage. In missile warfare, you just got less targets to take out, and they're bigger targets and easier to shoot at. Where is the great bragging rights over that? It's like we're sitting ducks. So, a leaked New York Times account of the Pentagon's classified overmatch brief is basically saying the People's Liberation Army forces are able to destroy U.S. advanced systems, including the Gerald Ford. Everybody told, oh, we got the SM-3, we got SM-6 missiles, blah, blah, blah. We don't have enough of them. China's got way more missiles than us, and we've been over playing whack-a-mole with the Houthis and defending Israel, and it takes us a long time to replenish our stock. The word has been that we only had a week's worth of this stuff, but against the onslaught of missiles that we're now expecting from China, I doubt if it's going to be that at all. We'll probably get overwhelmed really fast, and that's China's game here. That is what they're aiming for. Yeah, 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 yeah. So this is what we're talking about here, guys. It is not looking pretty. I can go in more details on this in the future, but it's not what I want to do right now. I just want to get through this real quick. China's quietly breaking America's Pacific chain. Oh, yeah, they're getting outside the first island chain. They're making deals with other countries and building like Micronesia, Samoa Islands, the Solomon Islands, excuse me, Solomon Islands, Micronesia. They're building basically military bases there outside the chain. These are countries once dominated by the United States that we just hadn't paid attention to. And they went in and gave money to some of these presidents, some of these countries, and actually, uh, they basically got rid of the president of one of these countries. You watch China Uncensored for details on that kind of stuff. He goes in great detail about some of that stuff. Chris Chappell. So they're rebuilding the World War II airfield in the Pacific now. They're rebuilding the airfield that we built for themselves. That's what they're saying. It was our airfield, but they're building it for themselves. And the Federated States of Micronesia. That's basically just a few hundred miles from Guam. So they can come in from our flank, from behind us in Guam. Guam is a U.S. American territory. It's not just a military base. It's United States. It's where the sun first rises in the United States. So anyway, but the United States did seize a Chinese cargo ship delivering military hardware to Iran. Well, you can see the tensions are building. It's building. China's missile surge puts every U.S. base in the Pacific at risk. The window to respond is closing rapidly, according to this article. Well, basically, they're building such a huge rocket force. They have their own rockets. They have an entire, just like we have an air force, they have a rocket force in China, and they've been building rockets hand over fist. China spent decades building up land-based missile forces designed to keep the United States out of the fight in Taiwan. That brings us to our knees here at home. So, I mean, how much do I need to go into this? Guys, y'all tell me if you need me to go deeper in this, fine. But it's something we've talked about before and go in more depth in the future. But China's also doing good technologically. It's been said that AI race is really an energy race. And we can see our power grid here is being strained enormously, trying to deal with the data centers. But China has been building power generation capacity out the wazoo. So much for Peter Zion, all those guys saying that China will not exist in 10 years. Oh, the question is, will we exist? I'm getting on if maybe he's a paid operative shield for China. Because, that's a Sun Tzu tactic. Oh, just lay down. Everything's gonna be fine. We're weak. We're weak. We can't do anything. And I've been talking to you about how they're building robots and military systems, and we're not doing squat. That's what we need to do. Over 10 years, and the making channel launches a two. Now, this tells you that some journalists just ought to be fired. They don't have any sense. And yet these people get paid a lot more money than me. I don't make nothing to write articles that are a bunch of hooey. Just look at the title. 10 years in making, China launches 2,000-kilometer wide AI computing hub. Well, how long is it? I'd imagine it'd be longer than wide. So, gosh, guys, I don't know. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. That's why you come to Green Greg's. Who has the largest data center in the world? China. Yeah, most of them like 10,000 square feet is, you know, that's considered the big ones. If they're over 10,000 square feet, that's called a hyper center or something like that. But China has got one that is ginormous. It's like 10 million square feet or something like that. It's crazy. Yeah. 10.7 million square feet. And Hohat in Inner Mongolia, 10.7 million square feet of data centers. Sounds, somebody was, Peter Zion was over them. China can't do this, can't do that. He's going to how they can't make 2 millimeter chips. Well, they're making 2 millimeter chips. How, Peter Zion's supposed to be the world's foremost geopolitical analyst. God bless his heart. All right, let's get off the war. We're going to get off the war now. I want to talk weather and earthquakes and get happy stuff. Well, Weather Service issues 24-inch snow warnings. 24-inch. I think one state's actually getting a warning of something like 54 inches. So, what happened? Oh, good Lord. I hate it when this kind of stuff happens. What in the world is this going? Got to play games to get the stupid. Oh, wow. Didn't quite get it. Kill that article. The heck with it. I was going to show the states. I had that article up for a long time looking at it and went through that earlier. But now, because some of these websites I've had open on my computer 2 days, I spend oodles of hours researching to do videos, but I can't do a video every night because it just takes too long. I'm up late now. I really need to be in bed. But this is tough doing this, guys. So when somebody gives me a super chat or something like that, I really appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Arnold Schmidt sent me a nice amount of money through Walmart. I got $100 from him. No, salute to Arnold Schmidt. Everybody, congratulate Arnold Schmidt for really being real generous and helping us out tonight. And I will check my email to see if anybody has come in on my website. Kim Possible might be in here tonight. Well, this is good. Here, look at that. No major sunspots facing us right now. Thank gosh. Thank gosh. Thank God. Pardon me. My gosh. Who is gosh anyway? By gosh. By gosh. By golly. Who's gosh and golly? Who are those guys? I ain't never met gosh and never met golly. By golly. So, do you have micrometeoroids on your roof? Yeah, well, apparently these little small ones are 1/10 of a millimeter, and you got to remember, millimeter is really tiny. Fall down about once a year. You get about one per square meter. So yeah, I must have a few of them up on this brand new, little over a year old, well, 2 year old roof now. Put this roof on 2 years ago. Yes, sir. This roof has been on this house for 2 years. So yeah, I must have a few up there, but good luck finding them, right? Good luck finding those things. I do have some little bitty balls I find here that are they call them shaman stones. They're round, kind of metallic looking, but the magnet don't attract them. Look kind of burned up. I wonder if they're micrometeoroids. That would be interesting. So we look at the asteroid. Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about solar flares. We've had the Gemini, what was it, the Geminids meteor shower. I saw one of them last night. Walked out my door, stood around for a little bit till I saw one, then went back in. It was fairly bright, better than Perseids I'd seen, but it was real short-lived. Best meteor shower I ever saw was a Linoid's meteor shower. Oh Lord, I saw one year. That was just unbelievable. So it's typically when you look at this calendar, it's now the 15th. You got all these near misses in the past. In the future, you don't see nothing. That's because they're just discovering these. We see a lot of smaller asteroids to discover, and I've covered that some on this channel and on Galactic Gregs. So you might want to watch that on these channels. So we're going to get into earthquakes, guys. It's real interesting what's happening here around San Fran. Look at all these. Look at all these earthquakes up here in Alaska. Puerto Ricans are dancing, having a good time tonight. We got something going on in Hawaii. We can back off for a second here and see the world. Well, there's always stuff around Indonesia and Philippines, Japan. Japan's rocking. Japan is rocking up here around Fiji. But there's some big earthquakes over here, but they have big earthquakes over like 5.0 Indonesia, 4.5 in the Philippines. Assuming dial in just a little bit. Come over here to Japan. If I can grab that outer circle. Yeah, I did. 5.1. 5.1. Yeah. Down here off the Russia. This is the Ring of Fire, guys, and it's really ringing. But I'm kind of interested in these. Texas looks like they got about 3 today. Alaska's got a lot, but look at all these right here, just east of the San Andreas Fault. Is something about to go cooking here in 1, 2, 3, right in here. Is something about to cook there? It's a 2.5 L in California. Can I grab the outer circle? There it is. A 4.0 L in California. Well, that's interesting. Raymond, California, 2.7, 2.6 in Alder Springs. Whoops. Wrong way here. Like I said, whoa, she's going funky on me tonight. Enough of that. Enough of that. We're going to stop the share. Hello. And I'm going to check my email. Arnold, Washington State is being hammered. Oh, yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about when I was talking about snow, it threw me off when that website crashed. I was wanting to show the states, and I was going to talk about rain. As you know, Washington, Oregon, especially Washington State, has been flooded horrendously. Well, now there's talk of another river, atmospheric river of water coming right back at them. And this may last 2 weeks, according to some sources. So if you're in Washington State, Oregon, and you're in any kind of flood zone, you better stay aware. You better be ready to get out in a hurry. This is not pretty. It's awful what's happening to people. I need to pray tonight for some people. Guys, they're having a rough time up there. I mean, really, really bad. Hey, Stan, how you doing? Good to see you. I am going to go and check my email, see if anybody sent me any super chats through that route. Basically, it's through my Green Greg's website. I get an email if they have. Nope. Yes, 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 yes. Donation received. Kim Possible, $20. Salute to Kim Possible. Thank you, Kim. That's why I checked this. Kim Possible. Salute to her. Now, she will do this, and she's not in the chat room a lot of nights, but she's watching because she's working. But she will send a donation. $20 from Kim Possible. Salute to Kim Possible. Salute to Arnold Smith. He sent me $100 through Walmart. So salute to Arnold. And yeah, that's awesome. That is great. Yikes. What happened there? Lost what I was looking at. Of course, and we got our, whoa, the wrong thing here. Oh, that one don't have that. Here we are. And of course, we got our, this is freezing up on me. I hate that. And baby girl, 845, excuse me, 885. That kind of disappeared on me. She gave me a $5 super chat, baby girl. 85422. Now, there's some comments on that. Let me see what the comments are. Oh, that's thanks to her. Buy your own. All righty. Thank you. She said, buy your own. All right. So let's go through the chat room real quick. I don't want to go too deep because it's already 1:30 in the morning here. It's going to take me an hour at least to get to bed. I got things to do. Mag Rising. We have Alaska in the house. Oh, Hillbilly. Kristen. I can't. I'm not going to go through everybody tonight. We're just going to hit a few highlights in here. I'm not going to stay long in the chat room, guys. We got to call it a night. Oh, yeah, we got to have our egg guest tonight. Forgot that last time I was live. Jesse, didn't see a notice. That's a problem. The platform's stumping me, guys. That's when y'all need to come in here and hit the like button and leave comments. I do have a video that we'll be posting tomorrow. Declining. US needs to wake up. We better worry about us before anybody else. Yeah, it's like when you're on an airplane and the mask drop. They tell you to put your mask on you before you mask somebody else, right? Well, we're choking. We are choking. Which part you don't want anything to do with the two countries that wiped out more people than the Fury? Well, they did. Now, Russia did that under Stalin as part of the Soviet Union under communism. But I'm not saying Putin is any saint. No, sir. Because people that disagree with him tend to take flying lessons out a high window. They usually don't end well. So he is no saint. A lot of people think he is. No, he's no saint. He is no saint. We got to watch out for. We're facing more threats. We've got to watch out. Seriously. War is steep in the new. It's not constructed, but it could come. And for that, we got to be prepared. That's what I keep telling you guys. Hey, we got a 12 Georgia. Something that's like 12 Bravo. That's our good military man from down in Georgia. Europe has been a mass exporter of religious refugees who were attacked relentlessly for their beliefs. Yes, a lot of who come to the United States. Matter of morals, it is. There you go, Jason. Royal families want their power and control back. Yeah, they're bug eaters. Well, there's something called black royalty. There's rumors of black royalty in 12 families, and we don't fully know who they are. Yeah, Henry Kissinger. Universal. Those are the people that want to give us universal basic income before they dispose of us. That's right, because then we're useless eaters. They'll find something. Mark Carney's another staunch Catholic who wants to divide up Canada by destroying the economy and buy up all the industries for pennies on the dollar, then sell them part to the USA and China. Yes, that's not good for Canada. Gold futures, 4,369. Wee. Guys, it's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, they're saying copper is a thing that's really going to be shooting up. And that's really bad because copper is used a lot in iron houses and everything else. That is really bad. It may also mean that bandits be breaking people's houses and stealing pulling your wiring out. Sell them for a few bucks to get a snort of some drug. And then you got to spend buku money, putting you wiring in and fixing all the damage they did. The damage alone will be a whole lot more than whatever few bucks they sell it for. Like a sewer drain. Well, we got some of that going on. Cuba American and nice. Yeah, okay. Marie, she's been here before. Hey, JoJo. All I need is clothes on my back and shoes on my feet and a roof over my head, food and water. That's the main thing. Yeah, Jesse, they're gonna bring it on in, but they're gonna make out like he's Christ probably. They ain't gonna tell you he's the Antichrist, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm just trying to get through these real quick because it's late. Cuban American, I know. Mm. Yeah, that's one of the best things I've seen Trump do. Schwaber and his Gollum-like sidekick. Ooh. Gollum is a clay statue that's supposed to bring in life. It sounds like the statue in Revelations, which could be a robot. It probably won't do well over there. I don't want to be over there. Let's see, baby girl. My handle is all. My handle is displays now. I know how to change. Okay, white baby girl. Okay, so you're white baby girl. Same baby girl. Oh, who's that? Missed it. Cuban nurse. Oh, anonymous mouse person. Well, that's a funny name. Anonymous mouse person. Songs are free. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we're not all in it together, pushing some different sides. Uh, Arnold Schmidt, that was what a lot of people think, that even in China, there's a powerful family in the background that even Xi answers to, Xi Jinping. So, a lot of rumors, a lot of allegations. I don't know, same thing. Yeah. So, how far does it all percolate up? There's a lot of players in this stuff, a lot of these societies that, are somewhat secret. I'm trying to mix my words up here for the algors that have no rhythm. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of these kind of things, guys. A lot of these kind of things. So, all right. Oh, I was hunting my tax papers. I can't find all my tax papers, but guess what I did find? You know who this is? You know who that is? Anybody guess? Who's this? Yeah, especially the statue speaks. Well, I got a notion it's going to be a robot, android, humanoid robot. That's my figuring. All right, let's see what y'all say. Anybody know who this is? I don't see nobody talking yet. Well, what happened? Yeah, get everybody's tongue. There's not no new text here. What's going on? Trying to open up the messages on my phone. Now I'm not seeing them there either. I have to refresh. There's somebody. Ha, Drew, you're right. That's right, old hillbilly. Soldier of the Year. I made the cover of the Buffalo, which was a newsletter of Fort Greely, Alaska. And this was January the 8th, 1982. That was 43 years ago almost. Now y'all getting it. That's right. I made Fort Greeley Post Soldier of the Year. Allison wins Soldier of the Year. I found something else. This is a newsletter that Ed Kiker and I put together for the North Star L5 Society. We called it Frontier to Frontier. Frontier is Alaska, the frontier of space. So we had an igloo on the moon with the Alaska flag on it. Anyway, good fun stuff. Yeah, we had our own back in the day when groups had newsletters. Y'all remember that before we had websites? You got to be kind of old to know what a newsletter is, right? That's right. I was in the Army. And oh, I got the video on the economic crashes. At the end of it, I've created my own march song. You know, in the Army, we used to do all these marching songs. And so I created my own about the economic crash. And given the bleak nature of it, it's kind of funny. All right, egg guess. Egg guess. How many eggs did I get today? Who's going to get this one? How many eggs did I get today? Jesse, but that was apart from the ruse. Make yourself look innocent by sacrificing those who are part of the team. Oh, yeah, they do that. You got to remember, guys, when the communists take over, they usually, and so the Nazis, when they take over anybody of these ism countries, they usually eliminate the people that put them in power. Oh, we got egg guesses coming in. All right, let's see. The first one to get the right number wins. Keep guessing, guys. Keep guessing. Keep guessing. Keep guessing. Nope, keep guessing. Keep guessing. Keep guessing. And some people putting the same number up again. Don't guess the same number, guys. Guys and girls. Pick a new number. Wasn't good earlier. It's not good now. Keep guessing. There we go. Oh, hillbilly. Oh, hillbilly got the right number. I got 2 eggs today. I only got 1 yesterday. There was one day I got none, and one day I got 3, and one day I got 4. Oh, hillbilly, you got it. He was the first one to say 2. Dirt Diggity was right behind him, but old hillbilly put it first. Baby Earl will know you getting 2, but old hillbilly beat you to it. You got 2 eggs today. And that's usually about what I eat most days when I eat eggs for breakfast. Sometimes I do 3. Depends on what I scramble on. If I scramble them, I do 3. If I make like a egg sandwich, I eat 2. So that's how it goes. 2 eggs. All right, before we go tonight, because of all the people that lost their lives in the incident in Australia at Bondi Beach, and all the people that got injured. So I'm going to say, let's pray for the families. I mean, somebody's gone. Their case is already taken care of. Their worries are gone. But the families need our prayers. The people that are injured need our prayers. And the same with the Brown University incident. I covered all those in the video earlier today. And all the people that experienced flooding in the Northwest, and for all those that's going to. Snow, there's some heavy snow coming in. Al Gore, what did you say? We wouldn't see any snow anymore? Oh my gosh. So that's what these people, AOC, Al Gore, for 30 years they've been telling us we only had 10 years, right? We've only got 10 years. We've only got 10 years to save the world. Yeah, same old broken record. Yeah, let's do some prayers, guys, and let's pray for world peace. Because let's pray that the powers that, guys, how we stop this? It's the people that don't want no part of it stand up to the countries and say nonsense. Let's cut it out. It takes people here and people in China too, and they might do that because a lot of people over there don't like this either. So the power of prayer is strong. And we got several people in here. How many people we got in the chat room? About 66. We got several people that pray together. 18 degrees in South Carolina. Whoa, free bird. 18 degrees in South Carolina. You're colder than me. That is crazy. 18 degrees in South Carolina. That is crazy cold. I've seen it get down. We've had a few nights that got down to 22. Oh, yeah. That is cold. It got down to 24 last night. It's supposed to get down to 28 tonight. Yeah, then we got some nights that's not even going to freezing. Crazy. Yeah, so let's do a little prayers. Let's do a little prayer here. So this is not a religious channel. I don't tell you how to pray, what faith to have. Pray according, if you don't believe, a moment of silence is golden, but otherwise I say pray according to your faith. However you do it, I'm not going to lead a prayer here. I'll leave it up to you. But don't forget the thumbs up, including the coffee bunch. There you go. Yeah, for the people watching in the morning. So let's do this. Let's do a quick prayer here. And if anybody is sick, we got somebody you want prayed for in a group. Amen. Samuel. Just go ahead and put it in the chat. Anybody seeing that, pray for our family here of members, our family of that watches here. All right, guys. Still a little prayer here. Amen. Amen. Everybody wants to rule the world. Yeah, it's sad. Greg is respect you for what you said. Peace. Yes. Amen. JAR15, how you doing? 9 degrees north, southeast Kentucky. All right, that's almost coordinates. Almost. Hey, Kim Possible. Just seeing that you're in the chat. Thank you for the super chat earlier. Prayers for those that don't know Jesus and the personal Savior. All right, so folks. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something. I did that video earlier today about these unfortunate events and Bondi Beach and Brown University. The guys in Bondi Beach started out standing on a bridge. They're standing in the wide open on top of a bridge, firing at people. In a gun culture, that would never happen. Because if you can be seen, you can be eliminated in 3 to 4 seconds, combat type situation. So in a gun culture where folks are packing and somebody's standing on top of a bridge in the wide open doing what they were doing, you'd be gone. You'd be gone. That's another reason I say that one of the lessons from that video is that gun control will not work. I give several other reasons. That was one I meant to bring up and I didn't. So I brought up several lessons from that video. So if you're not seeing it, go back and watch it. Stay tuned tomorrow for my video. It should be showing at 4 Mountain Time, 5 Pacific, 3 p.m. Central. No, excuse me. It's the other way around. 3 p.m. Pacific. I'm running backwards. 3 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, and we'll run it in a premiere, so there'll be a chat room running with it. I've already recorded and uploaded it so everybody can see that. But I'm talking about 8 forces we got that's trying to wipe our economy out without talking about all these people I just talked about earlier today. So everybody pay attention, watch that. And our video's frozen up. That's odd. Anyway, so everybody, if you can watch that and join us, it's almost an hour long, a little bit long, but I covered a lot of ground. But I ended it with one of my little, I made up a, you know how I do. I like to do poetry, especially doing a lot of it over on Silverhead News. Well, I did a little March song. Maybe I should make that a short video. Anyway, Bondi, not Bondi. Okay, Bondi. Okay. Well, the spell like the woman here is Bondi. So yeah, I don't know that without being there. Bondi. I thought it would rhyme with Crocodile Dundee. Excuse me. Thank you for the correction, Rodney. Bondi. Interesting. Bondi. So yeah, that's tragic. Very tragic. Very tragic, folks. So Trier says all they did is tighten the regulations and restrictions. Anyway, guys, it's not going to work. Any way you shake it, gun control is not going to work. It's just going to cause more problem for people trying to buy the law. All right, folks, we're going to call now. We got Norway in the house. Oh, you're saying we don't have Norway? Yeah, we're getting. Oh, I had a little dizzy spell there for a second. Anyway, yeah, we're getting hammered. We're being hammered hard. So I need all the help we can get here, guys. Help me out. Leave comments, chat with each other in the bottom of the video, and share my videos. Please share my videos. Anyway, folks, well, we've had a good night tonight. We've had a long, big discussion about some crazy topics. I hope I'm still allowed on the platform tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. All you super chatters, thank you so much for supporting me and my channel here, what we do. I really do appreciate that. I do appreciate, hey, good morning, Nicholas. We're calling it a night. Thank you, mods, for keeping the channel clean here tonight. And thank you, everyone, for watching. I appreciate it. Hey, you know how I know I was asleep like that? It's because I was in the Army. You know, just automatic pow, pow, pow. Hey, that's, you know, Post Soldier of the Year, 1980. That article was published at the beginning of 1982, but it was Post Soldier of the Year for 1981, Fort Greely, Alaska. I just found that today. Oh, I don't know Norway's in the house tonight. I think it was just Arnold Sandy throw the flag in there. And I thought Norway was in the house tonight. All right, anybody in Europe who sees this in the morning or anytime later, who sees the video, tell me what you really think about in the chat. I really get along some input from people in other places. Rodney, you're down in Australia. We've talked about Australia in my previous video. Chime in, so what you think about it. Anyway, again, thank you, super chatters. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I really appreciate. Oh, we got another super chat, Drew. All right, thank you, Drew. Really appreciate that, Drew. Really appreciate that. Amen. $6.30 from Australia, I guess. So A630. I take it that's Australia. So thank you very, very much, Drew. And he's got a little chat thing in there. That's Rodney saying thanks. Buy your own. There you go. All righty, folks. I really appreciate it, everyone. Then I'll have a swig of coffee. So I can stay up until I go to bed without falling asleep down here. I've done that some nights, and it's also worth a dog sitting there in my chair. So with that, I'm going to say to one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are. And ho, ho, ho. That's in memory of Granny Lana. So with that, I say Greg out.